I'll change the title now. It'll change it on the fly, so we're okay.
Welcome everyone to Otech Pro webinar. This webinar is held every Saturday at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Today, our topic is going to be multi-region data centers per a suggestion from our venerable CEO of OnPassive, Ash Mufarah. So we are glad to provide this information to you. Today, we have our group of 4 IT professionals who have a combined professional experience of over 90, that's 90 years. They live and breathe IT. So they're going to share their knowledge and experience with us. We also have today Jeffrey Morlock, who he says he's a geek. I guess you could call it a geek. And I think it's a very positive term. And when I asked him to come over and share, he was so excited because this is his thing. So we're going to have him share his thoughts and feelings today. And then we also have Marty DeGarmo, who comes in at the very end. He chimes in, he listens to what we all have to say, and then he gives his comments. So today, we're going to begin with Oliver Fonte.
Hey, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Wherever you are, wherever the world, just want to say good morning, and I appreciate you guys to be here to listen. That we just need to talk and carry on a conversation about our multi-region data center. A multi-region data center, I don't want to go with the Oxford Dictionary. I just want to go to a layman understanding what a multi-region data center is. A multi-region data center is that on passive, we are going to have our data center in almost all the continent, then break it down to the region. Why so? This is so because the CEO wants that all our data center in the continent and in the other region, break it down to the region or to the countries or to the wherever, they can have easy access to their data wherever they are. And our data center, they're hybrid. What is a hybrid data center? A hybrid data center is when the on-premise, that is where on site, and in the cloud. Why in the cloud? Because it's virtual. You can access your data wherever you are on this planet Earth. This is huge. This is huge, and that is the access that the CEO wants, that everybody, the 5 billion users, internet users all over the world, plus even the 8 billion can have access to us if they become our customers, of which they will become our customers in the nearby future, you know. So one good thing that I want to say also on this is that we have our data center now. It has a capacity of 1 billion that can carry 1 billion customers. This is big for a baby company that is starting from the sky. You know what I'm talking about. That 1 billion customers can access our data or their application or products in any part of this world at any time also, and at the same time, any location. Never heard of. Never heard of. You know, let me say it again. The 1 billion users can use our application at any time or our product at any time at the same time simultaneously. With that, our servers means where the data will be stored in the database there. With that, it will not blink. And it is a good thing that our CEO keep telling us that they've been testing our tech guys, they've been testing zero risk. That is a good thing that he has done. Then the one big advantage that we are going to have is that we have that control over our data. We have that control over our data. Another advantage is disaster recovery. Anything that happens in any of our locations, the customers will not, or the users will not even know what is going on. Everything will be working simultaneously, the functions as if nothing has happened. So if you bring down one of our data center is not going to touch on passive because we are prepared. Everything is well calculated. Everything is well calculated. And then we also talk about data sovereignty. Data sovereignty now comes with geographical locations and the compliance in all the countries. That's in IT we call it the data sovereignty. Each country, each continent, they have their own regional laws. GDPR is for the European, and you have the international standard also, which is the ISO 20701 and ISO 20702. That is the international standard. Hybrid now, our multi-region data center is going to be hybrid. What do we mean by hybrid? Hybrid means, like I said before, both on-prem and virtual in the cloud, that you can access your data wherever you are. Just the infrastructure alone that the CEO has put in, the CEO has put in place in our multi-region data center that is hybrid, the technology that is all embedded into it is one of its kind, never heard of. The best and the best of technology, like what? Fiber optic cables. Fiber optic cables is the best of the best, the top of the cables that you can think of. The speed. Those who were with us last night, the speed of fiber optic cables. Fiber optic cable is very expensive. The speed, for example, look at your O founders. When you click to your O founders, the speed that is going to give you your OTP, the code, is like a rocket. The brightness, look at our new website. When you look at the new website now, the brightness of it, fiber optic cable is the one that is in control on that. Come again, we'll talk about the 5G. Verizon and the other companies, they do have 5G. Look at our combination. Look at the combinations of our technology. Then come the Internet Protocol version 4 to version 6. The Internet Protocol version 4 and version 6 gives you access to our data center, and they are also hybrid. Version 6, IPv version 6, which is the Internet Protocol version 6, comes with its own security. Look at our allmail.ai, because the version 6 comes with 0 spams. Look at our allmail.ai. We have no spams or junk folder. That is already game changer. That is already game changer in the world. Come again. In all this technology that we'll talk about, we have the best and the best of the savers. We have the best and the best of the saver. I don't even want to talk about, now we are diving now into the security. I don't even want to talk about the physical security, because that one is a no-go zone. We are fine on that, because I know what our CEO can do with all our multi-region data center in all the regions that we are talking about, the continent, because he wants to spread it out to the continent. Then in our security, we do have our automated dictation action. The automation dictation action is AI cloud, the security that is there. It dictates any attack from the firewalls, wherever that wants to come in. Then we have encryption. Encryption in transit. When you talk about encryption in transit, is when data move from one location to the other. It's encrypted. Encryption at rest is the one that the data is at rest. It's also encrypted. So when you look from where we start with our technology, and then coming now to the security, because our technology comes with its own security, then we have our own security again in-house. Come again, we talk about penetration testing. That we have a department that I know that will hack the system, secure it, hack the system, secure it, pound it, so that the bad guys cannot come in. Though we still have that, our technology comes with their own security, but we still have to perform those. That is mind-blowing. We also have real-time monitoring and alert. This one is to dictate also events and suspicious attack that wants to come in. That is the function of AI also. Because all our products, everything is embedded with artificial intelligence, integration, and also monitoring. Now comes the robust data control for vulnerability, threats, and also the rest. AI is also there to dictate the vulnerability. Another one is email dictation. Remember that we have Internet Protocol version 6 that will also dictate those ones, because the worst people and the worst attackers are in-house. I was very happy when the CEO told us the other day that those who are misbehaving, they have their records, they have everything. They can, because we have that AI that dictate anything. So whoever does want to play any malicious game, they'll get you. Any emails, they will not get to on-passing. So watch out. By the time you hear your name, that this one has happened, no, AI has done his job, and they'll forward your name. That's why I keep telling people in the webinar, please don't misbehave. Don't misbehave, because when they keep telling people to remove doctor, PhD, engineers on your title, just put your name and your country. When you keep doing that, our robust data control will dictate you and pick you up. So please be careful, because we have sophisticated weapons, sophisticated technology, I'm sorry. We have sophisticated technology. I will end there so that to give room for others. Anteline, thank you.
Thank you. That was a very, very good overview of data centers and multi-region data centers. Thank you so much. Next, we have Vincent Otech, who's going to take the floor.
All right. Okay, thank you, Anteline, for this organizing this wonderful webinar. Thanks also my brother Oliver for this good, wonderful presentation. And thanks to Matty, is here, and also Jeffrey for the contribution. And also I will not forget my brothers here sitting, Bob and Collins. So I salute you from your position there. Okay, today I'll talk about the advantages of having a multi-region data center, because multi-region data center, we have advantages. That's the reason why we, on passive, we're doing the same issue, and then we want to have the model of the multi-region data center. So I'll go to the 5 key points of the multi-region data center. So the first point, I will talk about cost effective. I will talk about data security, scale as per need. I'll talk about mobility and also the data recovery. So the cost effective when enterprises opt for the cloud data center, you know, they don't spend money, they don't spend any money for the maintenance. So the maintenance is done by the provider. So this is one of the advantages to having a cloud data center cost effective. This is one point I highlight. And then the second thing will be data security. Even I know my brother Oliver also talk about the security and also highlight about the security in the data center, but I will say just a little bit about the data center. So the major concern of most company and most enterprise is the security. So their issue is security. So but with the data center, we have the security, the tight security, like my brother Oliver said. So the security is there, everything is combined for them to be us in a cloud data center. And then I'll say also something about scale pay need. Because in a traditional data center or maybe traditional on-premise company, people build the server on site. And then before to do that, you know, the IT guys or maybe the business project managers, they sit down and then they prospect the company. So like in the 10 years scale, what the company needs, what the company will use. So the project the company need for maybe for 10 years, or some of them, they can go for the 5 years. So they purchase the hardware or all the equipment they needed within that scale. Like I say, okay, we will have to pay for the next 5 years. And then sometimes when they pay all the IT or maybe the hardware, sometimes they don't use it. And then it becomes like waste of money. But with the data center cloud system, you can use what you need. Like if I need 20 gig of data, this is what you pay for, or even hardware resources, you pay for your need. And then if your need increase, you can pay for more, and then you go on. So this is the scale pay need. So you pay according to your needs. So this is how this thing works. Then I'll talk about mobility. So when we had the COVID 2019, but I know it's not gone 100%, it's still around the corner. But now most people, or employees and staff, they work from home. So everywhere you can connect your device, your smartphone, and then do your work and work. This is also the advantage of cloud data center advantage. So this also, the data in that case, when your business is stored in the cloud data center, your data is also the data store for your company can be retrieved and then can be recovered, even processed with just a couple of clicks. So enable employees to work from everywhere, anywhere in the world. So you can connect your device as far as you have an internet connection, you can connect and do your job. So, and then the mobility, they have the hardware, upgrade, update, all are done by the service provider. So you as an individual, everything is done automatically. You don't need to do anything. So this is the also one of the advantage. And then also the last part of mobility, it reduce the time for IT staff, those who are doing the maintenance, or they reduce them the time for the upgrade and maintenance stuff. So this is also the job, so that it can help them. Also, this also can be mobile, because you can work from home and then resolve any issues, any problem. As far as that you have a VPN, private, virtual private network, you can connect to that. And then after that, if you have an internet connection, you can connect to your corporate network. And then it could be anywhere in the world, anywhere in anywhere. And then you do your job without knowing that you are remote connection. So they call it remote connection. So this is also one of the advantage of the cloud data center as well. So we go back to the fifth point is a disaster recovery. So in disaster recovery, I know most of the organization in the world, no one can afford for the data loss. So we are all want to get our data in case of anything or any problem happen to the business, or maybe the services, or it could be maybe not even the disaster issues. It could be even a power outage, like electricity cut off in one region or one particular area. And then your business, because most of the IT and their resources, they are all connected to the electricity. We use electricity. So also it can break down your business. But being a data center, the good thing is that they have a power bank, they have a generators, they have a redundancy power supply, they have also uninterrupted power supply, UPS. So those, because they have a lot of money to buy all the resources, but small and maybe medium company, they cannot afford to have all these things. So being a data center and then hosting the data, it can allow them to have a business continuity. So even there's electricity cut or anything disaster, they can still do their job. And then also, if in case anything happen, because of the data the company have stored for them, the data center have stored there, they can retrieve that data and then restore back to them within a click, and then the business have a continuity. So this is the advantages of having multi-region data center. And then geographically, if your data, we have like multiple data center across the world, if anything happen to your data center, maybe close to the US North, the US South can replicate your information there, and then you can keep continuing doing your job, connecting to the other region of the world. And then we realize that your primary data center you connect to is off, but there is automatically done and then it's replicated just like just a minute, and then everything back to your work. You don't have any loss of data or any resources. Everything is done for you. And then I will handle by summarize the data, the benefits of the data center in maybe a couple of lines, because the data center increase productivity. So, and then also the data center improve redundancy and then flexibility. So it allow people to be flexible, to work anywhere they want. And then the data center also deliver high availability. So the high availability ensure business continuity. So we have a business continuity, and then we support disaster recovery plan. So this is one of the advantages. And then also, like my brother Oliver said, we have a security and a mitigate risk. So people cannot come to the company, and then even a thing like malware or maybe viruses attack is also taken account within data center. So this cannot happen, because if you're recording maybe your data to your company data or the company computer, and virus or malware attack, you lost everything. But with a data center, it will not happen. You can get all information back within a minute or within a second. And then we have also improved for energy efficiency. Like data centers, they have generators, energy banks, and then a power supply, uninterrupted power supply. We can remove when we have like power cut in your region, with all the generators and power bank, everything will continue working as nothing happened to the region. So this is also one advantage. And then cost reduction, you don't spend a lot of money for the maintenance. So you spend less money, like all the hardware upgrade, hardware resource, the service provider, they do everything automatically for you. So you don't have to do anything. You just plug in, like you go to the internet, and then your business is done for you. You can do from there. So the last part I'll say is profitability, because most companies, they will profit, they will generate a lot of profit for the data center because of business continuity, and also there will be a scalability for them as well. So this is what I will hand until in. Thank you.
Thank you so much for going over the advantages of a data center as well as the advantages of a multi-region data center. It was very clear and concise. Next, we have Bob Tukusi, who is going to be speaking. Go ahead, Bob.
Hello from Houston, Texas. Good to see you all. Hello, Antiline. Thank you, my brother Vincent. Brother Jeffrey, good to see you. And Brother Madi, my brother Oliver. It's good to be here. I'm speaking to you all from the beautiful city of Houston, Texas, the oil city. Let's see. So a data center. We're talking about multi-regional data centers, as our CEO commissioned us to do. But what indeed is a data center? What is it? A data center, in simple terms, a data center stores and shares applications and data. You know, so it comprises several things. It comprises the servers, the switches, the routers, the database or a storage system, the database, right? You know, our brother Vincent has talked a lot about database, explaining the database to us, but what indeed is it? What is this database that is within this data center? The database for every single company is one of the most prized, how do we call it? Is the most prized asset, the database. The database holds every information. Like, I think it was Madi who told us a couple of months ago, it is money, our data. The data of the company is the money, is the company's wealth, you know? So what is it? The database is made up of all kinds of information about the company. It is a logical, you know, a relational database where you store information in a logical manner, like in tables, several tables that have something unique that connects each of them together. And then a specialist like Brother Vincent would query that database to retrieve those information. So the database of a company, of our company, is very, 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 very important. But typically there is one database, you know, for the company. There's one database, but it is distributed across, or distributed and replicated across many regions. It could be distributed in many geographical areas, usually carried by a cloud provider. So that's why we're talking today about multi-regional data center, because we are going to be deployed in every region around the world. We are everywhere. So now that brings me to a few reasons, a few advantages that places us, with us being able to be deployed everywhere, be in several regions around the world. I know my brother Oliver has already mentioned a few of what I have, but a few advantages that I will talk about here is, you know, and Vincent just talked about it, it is disaster recovery, because we are deployed all over in every region. When there's a problem, because these systems go down, even the cloud service provider, they go down from time to time. So, but when you are deployed in every region around the world, guess what happens? When this system is down, all what we do is we enable the application or all the systems of that data center to point to the one that is up. So there's never any downtime where people will be wondering what's going on, because we have that capability, because they are all running. Remember, these databases are all synchronized. They are like hot sites. They are all the same. As data comes in, it is replicated across every single database around the world at the same time. So when one goes down, the other ones are continuously working. So the application just point to the next available data center, and people work seamlessly without knowing that anything is going on at the moment. And then Oliver talked about data sovereignty. Yes, that's true. Data sovereignty. Some countries actually really prefer their data to be hosted within a certain geographical area within their country, to comply with certain laws, like he cited GDPR. Yes, that's true. In England or in Europe, England especially, they prefer especially customer data, because England and Europe, actually, they have a law, the General Data Protection Regulation. They frown a lot on personal data misuse. So they would prefer personal data to be hosted or stored within their geographic area, the personal data, but other non-personal data, like maybe somebody's ordering something, you want to know the status of your order and things like that, could be distributed. So that helps them in complying. You know, that helps us, or those who run multi-regional data centers, to be able to comply with those kinds of regulations. Even in China, I think China mandates that her data is stored within China, you know. So that helps also companies to be able to they can have read access to the data from China, but they don't actually store the data within their distributed data centers in other areas, but just within the Chinese geographical environment or area, as they would say. And then the third thing that I wanted to add, which my brothers also referenced, is latency reduction. By latency reduction, we mean when you access your systems all over the world, because we have distributed data centers around the world, the databases are near you everywhere. So we have what we call less hop count, because when you go to any website, or when you try to access any information, as you get into the system, you go through a router. A router routes you to the specific server who has the database in which you are going to retrieve that information from. So what happens? There's less hop count, because maybe the data center the main data center of that system could be here in North America, and you are somewhere in Asia or in Europe. If they did not have distributed data centers around the world, you would have to hop several routers. You are routed several times. They call it multiple hop counts to get to where you are. So that takes time for you to get to the data that you're trying to get, right? But with multi-regional data centers distributed all over the world, guess what happens? You have less hop count. So you just go boom, maybe one hop count, and then you are where you need to be. So it improves latency. So there's what we call Mr. Ash calls low latency or zero latency. That's why, like Oliver said, before you even go to your email to check your one-time password, your OTP, the code is already there because it goes instantly, 1, 2, and is there. But what if it had to travel around the world to get to the server that has this one-time password? It will take time. It will slow down a little bit. So that's a latency reduction. And I just want to end by also appreciating Mr. Ash Mufara's ingenuity for having this initiative or this concept of multi-regional data. Not only multi-regional, but the concept of us having our own data center. I think all of us here, every single one of us here, when we came in, I've talked to Oliver personally. I've heard colleagues also talk to Oliver and our database expert, Vincent. We all had the same sentiments when we came in. After we realized the magnitude of OnPassive and the amount of data that is going to be involved and the security that Mr. Ash is guaranteeing us, we knew that it was practically not feasible or not good for us not to have our own data center. So having our own data center gives us 100% maximum control of everything about us, because our data is our money, like Brother Madi says. So having our own data center, that was one major, massive decision that Ash Mufara take. Maybe it might have taken us a little bit of time. Those are one of those decisions that were made and then drag out the scope a little bit. But we not knowing, those regular folk not knowing exactly the importance of that, now we see that Mr. Ash Mufara has brought us this close and given us total anonymity of our own data and our infrastructure. That's a very good thing. And also our bottom line, like Brother Mike Ellis always says, it's also one of our physical products, our data center. You know, our bottom line is also going to be good. The Gardner Corporation, from a conference that I attended last week, said this. He made there's a projection that in this 2022, $1.3 trillion is going to be spent on cloud service. About 50% of the total money spent is going to be on cloud service, IT cloud service provider. And then they're saying that by 2025, it will be 1.8 trillion. So Mr. Ash Mufara is also putting us squarely for a lot of profitability as I see it. So I want to thank Mr. Ash for that. And with that, I'm going to send it back to you, Auntie Lynn.
Thank you so much. What I see is that Ash Mufara really was looking into the future, our future needs, not only our current needs. And he's looking not only at security, but also at, over time, a lot of profitability for OnPassive. So we'll host our own data. And like you said, anonymity is very important, you know, security, but also the fact that we'll be bringing in quite a bit of revenue as companies come to us to host their data. So I think OnPassive is in a great place, really, with a very astute leader, Ash Mufara.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Next, we have Collins Mana. Hello, Collins.
Yeah. Yeah, the three guys have just blown my mind with the data center. Yeah,
definitely.
Lynn and all the viewers, those who are on YouTube and those who are also in-house watching us. And just want to welcome Jeffrey. You know, Jeffrey is a lover of technology. So we're glad to have you here, Jeffrey. Yeah, so I will just look at the general overview because Brother Oliver have just said everything, you know, Vincent, you know, in depth, but we just crush everything. But when we look at data, we always say data is money, and data is, we are in Zoom. What we are seeing now is our data. You know, the data is hitting the server and the server is in data center. Whatever information you have is your data, and data is money. You know, most of this company, they made a lot of money out of our data. Imagine 5.5 billion users using the internet space. What is happening is all data and data. Your money in the bank is data. When you pull it out, it's a physical cache. But once it's there, it's just numbers, and that numbers is data. Where is that data stored? It's in a server. A server is in the data center. And why multi-regional? We've already said it. It's because it's cost effective. Cloud is cost effective, you know, and we're looking at the regional. So when we talk about disaster recovery, we just touch all of that, which I don't need to go into all of that again. The need of having multi-regional. But what we are saying, it is the choice, very good choice and opportunity that Mr. Ashbrook have given us, especially as a user, for our own data to be in our own system. One, OnPassive will save a lot of money. Maybe as a founder, you don't know how much OnPassive is paying to AWS. Hundreds of thousands a month, hundreds. And we've not even started to use most of the product. Just imagine when all these products will be in the market, like O Connect, you know, O Counting, you know, Academy, just all the products, hundreds of thousands of products, because normally it's an IT company and they'll bill. And the more you bill and you include it in the data center, customers come and they use it, their data is in the data center. What will happen? They charge you. It's just like electricity bill. They charge you. So one of the questions I'll put with the viewers, will you choose to put your money in your pocket, save your money in your pocket, or will you want to put your money in someone else's pocket for the person to look after the money? Of course, if you have a pocket, you want to leave it in your pocket because in your pocket, you know it is safe, secure. There is safety and security because you believe in your own pocket, your money is secure. It is safe. And secondly, it is cost effective because you don't have to pay anybody to look after your money. It is in your pocket. And you know the amount of digit that is in your pocket. But in someone else's pocket, you are not even sure. And the person can decide to tell you, you know, your money is too much. They see your money and they can charge you whatever they want to charge. You don't have any option. You have to pay because you don't even have a pocket. So you are putting in someone else's pocket. So you have to pay for it. So the good news is our data is in our own, it will soon be in our own data center. And that is a plus. And as Bob said, our bottom line is secured because the money that we're supposed to pay will be something that Mr. Ash will look at and say, you know what, let's use it. Let's give it for charity. Let's use it for good cause. Let's look at, take care of the need of the founders, you know. So I will just leave it there. I will not even take too much time because our brothers, they've just said everything and just happy. Thank you, Angeline.
Thank you. That was great. Awesome. So now we have Jeffrey, who's going to come in and talk with us.
Man, I'll tell you what, you guys, nothing short of awesome. Nothing short of awesome. I'm always picking these little things up that you guys come in. It just makes my mind go, kind of like fireworks on a Friday night.
I know your mind is going 100 miles an hour.
Yeah,
I know.
Yeah, it really does because, you know, everything you guys talk about, it brings it into the bigger picture of what we're doing and where we're going and how phenomenal, you know, the whole mindset and the whole journey is moving forward with what we're doing. But I want to thank you so very, very much, each and every one of you, just for inviting me and allowing me to participate in this. I mean, you guys are all awesome. And on top of that, you provide some real value, immense value. So thank you for all of that.
And we're glad to have you. We're really glad to have you.
I appreciate that. And, you know, we all like being invited and being felt like we've got a voice somewhere. And, you know, that's the beautiful thing about OnPassive is that wherever we are, we can have a voice and we can have a say in what we're doing. We just need to understand that if we get involved with whatever our passion is, at whatever level that is, that's the level of acceptability that we have. And we're all accepted here and we're all unique and significant. And Mr. Mufara has run that theme past us more than once. So, you know, there's not a lot you can really talk technically after listening to these guys. It's like Marty said the other day, geez, how do you follow that? So I think what I wanted to do is talk a little bit about how our data centers are going to work for us and I know that Oliver in particular, I think it was, and forgive me if I'm wrong, mentioned something about speed and that sort of thing. And I want to talk a little bit about that too. So we all know that we've got multi-regional centers in the works, right? Maybe 7 or so, I think, I'm not sure, that we've been developing them ever since last November when Ash first put those little gold nuggets out that, make us think, oh, what's he talking about now? Well, data centers, right? Maybe by the end of this weekend, I hope at least, maybe if not, that's fine, because I love Julie when she just came right out and said, I stopped asking questions a long time ago. Well, Julie's not alone. Jeffrey stopped asking questions a long time ago and just go with it. I didn't even have to worry about it. So, but I'm hoping that by the end of the weekend, maybe we'll have a completion or at least a tentative date that our first data center is going to go live. Now, I would imagine that first data center, boy, that's going to be a humdinger. And I would imagine it to be a core data center. And by that, let me explain. There's typically 3 types of data centers, right? You've got core data centers that are big, huge. I mean, these are massive facilities, and they're usually found in data center markets like Silicon Valley or high-tech city, Hyderabad even, right? And if we're building a home, which is a good metaphor, I liked Marty's metaphor last night when he said, hey, if you're prepping a meal, these are the ingredients. Well, if we're building a home, a core data center is like the foundation in the home. It's something that you've got to have. And if you don't get that thing set up right to start with, you're going to have problems down the road. Then you have what we call regional data centers. And these are a little more modest in size, typically located in major metropolitan areas, but they're not the big data center areas, right? And in the home scenario metaphor, that's kind of like the framing that's holding up everything else. And then peripherally speaking, we have what's called edge data centers, and these are smaller. They pop up in decentralized areas, and they'd be kind of like the placards or maybe the drywall on the walls in the building, that sort of thing. So I think that the first data center that we're going to see is probably going to be a core data center, especially when you talk about it being able to have the speed and capacity that it's got. So we're going to be using all 3 types of these centers, I'm sure, as we get years into this, so that we've got a global network of data centers literally wrapping the globe. And anyway, as it's been said, having our own data centers has given us the freedom to do what we want to do without being strapped or held by somebody else's rules. That is absolutely huge for where Ash wants to go. And he's never made a pretense about not wanting third parties in our business or having control over it. So I'm loving that, and like Oliver said, I think it was Oliver, and forgive me if it's not, but our first data center is going to accommodate 1 billion people running multiple applications, multiple products all at the same time, right? Mr. Mufari talked about this earlier in the week in the roundtable on Monday. Please, if you haven't heard that, go back and listen to it. Whoever's listening to this, YouTubers especially, go back and listen to that. So anyway, our first data center is going to have, capacity for having 1 billion people using multiple products. And we don't just mean like 2 or 3, I mean 20 or 30. And I love it. And again, I think it was Oliver, might have been Mr. Fonte, I'm not sure. But somebody said it's not even going to blink. And I got thinking about that. And I thought, well, I don't know what that even means. I mean, we all know data is fast. And we know that light travels at, I don't know what, 850 or 60,000 miles per second or some crazy number. So let me explain a little bit about my thought on that. Because when we head into having what I'm sure Mr. Mufara would call a future ready data center, we're talking about something that's going to be providing simpler, adaptive infrastructure. I think, Mr. Fonte, you may have talked about this last night, how the data centers that we have are going to be very adaptive, and they're going to be capable of responding to change and disruptions in the market and things like that. Of course, we don't really have to worry too much because we are the disruption, right? I mean, we are that paradigm shift. So anyway, I'm getting to the point here, believe it or not, just kind of going around my elbow to get to my thumb, but we all know what a silo is, right? A silo like is on a farm, it's used for storage. We also have in technology what we call technology silos. So if you've ever been driving down the highway and you've seen a large agricultural farm, then there's several freestanding, boom, 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 6 or 8 silos standing up, right? They can be in a group, but the big thing is they're not connected. Now, technology silos are similar in a way, and that the technology silo refers to applications and software that don't communicate with each other, meaning the data that they have, the data they contain, isn't easily retrieved or accessed by other software or other applications or other departments. This type of disconnection can stop or hamper our ability as a company to operate and carry out operations successfully, right? This is because various departments and companies, they've got to have specific information in a way to operate with an efficiency. And obviously Ash is all about efficiency. So OnPassive's speed is related to that, and it's actually alleviating these types of efficiencies through a couple of different ways. The first way is obviously through our AI and our automation, which is unheard of. It's never been done at the level it's being done with OnPassive. And we all know that automation, that AI, it gives us speed that's millions of times, if not billions of times faster than humans could do. But secondarily, because our software, our apps, our programs, the automation, the departments, right? The entire digital ecosystem and the digital infrastructure that runs it all seamlessly communicates with each other within the programs, within the data center, and between the data centers, even at the global level. So when we think of the first data center that's going to be handling 1 billion people, with 20 or 30 products, that's 20 billion applications all going at the one, right? Not to mention all the peripheral stuff that's going on, but it's all happening at one time. And when we say it's not even going to blink, we're talking about all this communication, which has been written and seamlessly happens so fast and much faster than what the average is today. And you're talking, in seconds, millions of seconds and stuff like that, which gives us the advantage. It is very disruptive. It's going to be disruptive. That speed and our capacity is going to be disruptive on a global level. And you can bloody well believe that the tech giants out there, they know who we are. They see where we're coming from and where we're going. And my guess is they've got the feelers out there and they're starting to stress a little bit, and they're going to have to play catch up. So that speed and the agility that we're going to be working with is going to be not only disruptive, but it's going to be extremely to our advantage. I mean, we're not the ones in trouble here. So anyway, once we get the main data centers live, the idea is to have everybody connected to a data center which is close to them to start with, or a data center that's at least in their region, right? Or at least a region that's close to them. So we're going to start with some continental data centers, and eventually, Mr. Mufar is going to scale it up or drill it down, depending on how you look at it, so that we have them in specific countries, and then maybe, every other country. And sooner or later, you're going to have a complete, absolute global net of data centers that is going to be operating in the lightning speed. So it's just another way Mr. Mufar is showing us OnPassive class, and like I said, we're being seen clearly by the tech giants. They know this is disruptive and coming at them, and we're just providing this, and it's more ultimate value, to the world as we define who we are. So I just ask, be patient, appreciate where we are on the way to where we're going, because it's all happening, and it's all happening now. So Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jeffrey. You covered quite a bit of ground in those
Uh,
few minutes. I love it.
You guys are inspirational. It's they're the ones that got me thinking about all this stuff.
You're amazing. The amount of information you hold in your brain. You boggle my mind how much you know. You know a little bit about everything. That's awesome. So now what we want to do.
The neat thing, Lynn, is when you think about core, regional, and edge, and you think, okay, now we're building a house, and then you end up with a network of data. I mean, this is where we're going with it. So it's exciting that we've got a first data center, which will be massive and very capable and very agile and very fast. But from that, we go out. And if I can say that first data center, it's a done deal. And by that, I mean, now they know what they're doing. They've done it. It's tested. So making these other data centers they're going to pop up faster, and you're going to learn along the way. So we're going global with it. So that's the
definitely.
Big deal. Sorry.
I know. Yeah, I know. Ash Mafara mentioned that he's going to be adding data centers on a continual basis until eventually we'll have one in almost every other country. So it's going to be like a big web of data centers, all connected with one another, which is going to, like our tech people say, reduce latency. So I think that's going to be a huge strength of this company. Right now, I would like to bring on Marty DeGarmo.
All righty. Yeah, very
Thank
good.
you, Marty.
Yep, you're welcome. Well, Jeffrey's an IT guy. Holy cow, we got another one. Anyway, no, very interesting. Looking at it from a marketing point of view or a customer point of view, all the stuff that you're saying, a lot of customers or maybe resellers are coming to a company, and it's very important that it doesn't blink. It doesn't shut down. The capacity is there if they need it. We'll have a lot of what we call guest areas where people can come in free and take a little taste of whatever they want. And when they do that, a big deal right now is the privacy issue where people are selling your data or they're doing, because I think a big marketing part of On Passive will be the privacy part of it. In other words, you're not going in and you're not worried about who are they selling my data to. And when I say data, your name, your email, okay, that's data. Everything we talk about is data when you go online. As soon as you turn it on, you're in the world of data. Well, and like we've said, data is money. It just is. There's companies that make billions and billions and billions of dollars off data, not concrete, not brick and mortar, it's data. So yeah, it's very important. I know for a fact when a customer comes in or a reseller or a teacher or education, when they're doing O-Staff or O-Academy, they get in and they've got a class of maybe 500 or 600 people or 1,000 people, that it's shutting down during the middle of the class, or if there's 50,000 classes going on and it doesn't blink, it's a big deal. It's a big deal. I've even seen it on the news channels, Fox, CNN, or whatever, and you see that they get a bad connection. Not going to mention the name of the companies, but that has to do with the power, where the data center is, and how powerful it is. It's not necessarily the fault of the newscast, you know. So, no, but it's very, I think as far as you can brand all you want, you can get the people to come to the front door, but when they get in, they want to have a good experience. And the experience is not knowing they're in something that can move or fluctuate. They love the idea. Look, they shouldn't even notice where they're at. That's the beauty of it. It's the same as the technology. People are going, oh, I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to do that. Mr. Mufar and the tech team are engineering out, I don't know how. It's going to be simple enough anybody can do it. And the power of it and the data that keeps the flow going is going to make people feel very comfortable where they are. If you get them comfortable, you have the products, you have the ingredients, and even what Jeffrey said, which even makes more sense, If you have the foundation, you have the bricks, you have the wood, you have the nails, you're building a fortress. When you're done, the wind can't blow it down, a storm can't blow it down, and if there's a problem in a region, it switches right over. You don't even see it. So nobody's feeling bad about, oh, I went on this, I went on this platform and it went out 3 times or whatever. You don't need to have that happen 2 or 3 times and you lose customers. It's flat out. People want quality when they get in. They want to be able to move. They want to be able to go from one site to the other. And the beauty of OnPassive is you can go to O Connect and drag in all these other products while you're in O Connect. You got tens of thousands, if not a billion people doing that. You got to have your stuff together in the background. People don't see, right? Data center, nobody sees a data center. But it's good to know it's there if when a customer comes in and has the experience. The experience is what keeps people there. The experience is what has somebody tell somebody else, hey, you got to come on here. It's amazing. They don't sell your data. They don't sell your name, your email, whatever. That's powerful stuff. It's stuff that we don't think about. Yeah, there's marketing. Yeah, there's paid advertising. But I think we'll be blown away by how many people come in from word of mouth. That all has to do with experience. If the experience is good, people will come back. If the value is good, they stay for life. It's just that simple. So if you think about it, Ash didn't reinvent the wheel. He just made it spin better. And it does a better job. And if people can get that, it all adds up. It all adds up to success. The problem with big companies is they go to success first. Success is thought of by money. But if you build a company right, money's the least of your worries. It just happens because of what you did. It's a beautiful thing. And I've learned that here. So really, I've learned that in OnPassive because I had the mind, just like most people, especially being a marketer, where's the money? If you build the other right, you don't have to think about money. There's no reason to think about money in OnPassive. None. Zero. Because the ingredients equal money. Anyway, that's all I have.
That was awesome. And I know, Marty, I've heard you speak before about value, and I would wonder if you could just expound on how OnPassive is providing value to the world.
Okay, I'm going to say something that some people wouldn't be happy about, especially people that might be our competitor. We have no competition when it comes to OnPassive with anybody else. And this is very simple. It's value. If you go online right now, and I don't care who you are, and you punch in some kind of product, automatically they set up like 2 or 3 products next to each other, and they have a checklist. They might go down 20 items. The one has 10, the other one has 11, the other one has 12. Now they add in the cost. And this one's $5 more, that one's $10 more, that one might be $20 more, and you go, okay, for 20 extra dollars. But the whole point is, the worst one will be twice as much as OnPassive. So right away, value-wise, there's no competition. None. I can't even see where we're on the same chart. It will be second, third, and fourth position, and then somewhere way up here will be OnPassive. I believe that. That's value. Now, we haven't got into the quality yet. So now we get into the quality. I invite 1,000 people. 1,000 people invite 1,000 people, and we go to O Connect. It doesn't blink. It's running, and I can pull on everything. And I can talk to you in a different language. I can talk to you and it translates. Listen, go anywhere you want. Nobody's doing that. No one. And now add all these little prizes that everybody's going to get, and I'll chop the cost down 40, 50%. There's value. You get value. People, listen, nobody's in love with a company. They're in love with what the company gives them. And if you can come into OnPassive and get the value and get the technology and get the backing and get this thing where you feel, this is different, lights out. Lights out. Because I'll tell you right now, Most companies, 9 out of 10 are playing catch up right now. You go watch them, go listen to what they're saying. They don't have the technology. They're not AI induced. They're going there. You know how hard it is to take a company that was built one way from the bottom to the top, shareholders, how much can we make? And to decide, here comes this company called OnPassive. It was built with heart. They don't talk about money, they talk about value. You're going to change everything you ever did, your whole culture of your company, to try to compete with that? You'd be better off knocking your company to the ground and starting over. Then what happens? We're already on the move. Why? Because we're already better tomorrow than we were today. Because of the mentality is we're going to be better. It's never good enough with Mr. Mufara and the tech team. It's never going to be good enough. As long as you have that as the captain of the ship, you're not getting on another ship. It just doesn't make sense. You're wasting your time, your money, your effort, because that's what people want. This is 2022. It's only going to get more and more and more. People get spoiled. Ass is going to spoil people. He's going to spoil consumers. There'll be companies coming in because they're going to say, what am I doing here when I can be here? And let me tell you, you go back to the shareholders and say, hey, here comes a company that built a company with heart. They don't mention money. It's all about value. What do we need to do to catch them? Well, all of you in the boardroom need to take an 80% cut because you're all being paid more than that guy makes total. They're not going to go for that. Shareholders are not going to go for that. This is just common sense. You don't have to be a mastermind to see where we're going, and you know when we get on the block, there's going to be people talking. Same with Burj Khalifa. They see OnPassive shoot up that thing, and they're going, "Who the frick is that?" You know who walks around Dubai? CEOs, presidents, major company owners. That's where they relax. They see that going up. Who is this OnPassive thing? What are they doing? They're starting off here. How do you start off in Dubai and buy 2 floors? Because it was engineered that way from the very beginning. I'm going to give people value. Ash talked about value the day I got in and never changed it. And the whole time I'm going, value, value, value. Yeah, but where's the money? Where's the money? Where's the money? And then as time goes on, you go, oh my God, the ingredients already equal that. Stop talking about it. It's going to happen. You can't even help it. You're going to trip over it. It's a byproduct of the ingredients that he put together. Anyway, that's all I got again. Anyway.
Yes. Oh, wonderful points. Thank you so much. We're going to be going into another webinar, the Kenya webinar, in about a few minutes. So what we want to do is invite you all here who are attending today to move with us to the Kenya webinar, because the topic is going to be data centers and multi-region data centers. So we can continue this discussion. Jeffrey will come along with us. So instead of rushing to end here, we don't. We're going to continue on the next one. It is posted in the back office. It should be posted right now. So go to the back office, get the link, and continue to this discussion with us on the next webinar. It's at 12:30 p.m. Eastern time. So it's going to start in a few minutes. We're going to probably log in the next 5 minutes. So we hope to see all of you there as we continue this wonderful discussion. Thank you for being here. This is a weekly webinar every Saturday at 11 a.m. Eastern time. We post it in the back office as well as extensively in social media. We hope that you will come back again and again, and that we have provided good value to you. Thank you very much for being here, and we'll see you at the OnPassive Kenya webinar. Thanks on behalf of everyone here. Bye-bye now.